All right, what's good with it, everybody? Once again, it's your boy JB9 Deuce representing JB Speak Easy, the black platform where black men speak freely. Once again, I am your host, JB9 Deuce. Thank you for coming to the show on another Saturday night. I know you guys could be anywhere doing anything with anybody, but I'm glad that you decided to share your time and space with me. And it's much of a blessing, much of a blessing. Well, tonight we have I like to call it a special treat. Anytime I'm able to get somebody to come on so we can have a little talks about different discussions. Well, tonight I'll be having my homegirl Asia Branch come on. She'll be coming on in a little bit. I'm gonna send her the link, but I'm gonna go ahead and make it quick. Today's show is going to be about I call it sexual deviancy, but it's really Epstein to Jourdine, sexual deviancy in today's society. That's sexual deviancy in today's society. And if you look around from social media to the news to just everyday life, I know everybody's starting to see a lot of sexual immorality rise to higher numbers than they've ever been before in America. You know what I mean? Or in the world, I would even dare say. But I'm actually going to get into the Epstein thing very briefly. I'm going to ask my guest a few questions. Let me go ahead and shoot her the link. But while I do that, we're just going to get you guys caught up. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip. This is it. This NBC. They're doing the news. They're doing a news story on the Epstein files. I'm just going to do this while I go ahead and get my guests in here. Let me see. Go ahead and stop screen. All right. And ultimately, okay. Yeah, here she is. I'm going to go ahead and play the news clip. I'll go ahead and handle this on the side real fast. All right. Perfect, actually. Okay, cool.
Is scrambling to review roughly 5.2 million documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, according to a source familiar with the operation. That's a number much higher than previously known. Two sources familiar with the plan tell NBC News the DOJ is trying to enlist about 400 employees for the effort, which is expected to run until January 20th. That's a month after the deadline set by a bipartisan law Congress passed to release all Epstein files. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche posting today required redactions to protect victims take time, but they will not stop these materials from being released. The publicly released tens of thousands of documents. President Trump, who's never been accused of wrongdoing related to Epstein, has long said he cut off contact with his one-time friend in the early 2000s.
He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again, and I threw him out of the place, persona non grata.
Now, the Wall Street Journal, citing former Mar-a-Lago and Epstein employees, is reporting on an incident it says led Trump to ban Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago spa. According to the Journal, in 2003, an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. When a manager sent a fax to Trump relaying the allegations, the Journal writes, Trump told the manager it was a good letter and said to kick him out. Police and former employees told the Journal the incident was not reported to Palm Beach police. Tonight, the White House calling the reporting fallacies and innuendo, adding no matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains. President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
And Gabe, late tonight, we also have some new developments about National Guard deployments.
Yes, Peter. President Trump just announced he's removing National Guard troops from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, Oregon. The move comes after the Supreme Court last week rejected the Trump administration's claim the situation in Illinois met the criteria for the deployment. Peter?
Gabe Gutierrez in Palm Beach tonight. Gabe, thank you.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
All right, guys, I was just letting this clip play.
One of the perks of being rich is
I'm
being
also
able
giving
to
my
pay people to do
guests
things
some
for
time
you,
to get in
right?
here.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein.
All right, we pause right there. In fact, I want to actually continue on a little bit more, but we're going to actually wait till my guest comes in. Her name is Miss Asia Branch. But yeah, like what I'll keep this simple. I'm a man that's really simple. I'm not the biggest politician. I'm not one of those political commentators, but I do this YouTube. I'm in this YouTube world, and we like to discuss different topics, and I just want to bring Epstein into this. Okay, she go right now. Miss Asia, how you doing? Welcome to JB.
I'm doing pretty good for 2026 so far. How about you?
Absolutely, like I said, the same. Completely blessed. I'm blessed.
Into that one.
Absolutely. Well, I gave you a little background when we was texting earlier about what we're going to be talking about tonight. I called the show "Sexual Deviancy, Epstein To Jourdine." I wanted to be a little wordsmith a little bit, but I'm just going to go get right into it. Right now, they've been talking about the Epstein files for months now. It seems like they're not trying to put it out. They're trying to put it out. It's all this little hoopla that they got going on. But what do you think about this? Why do you think they haven't released the files? And who do you think is more responsible for them not?
Well, honestly, when it comes to the Epstein files, I'm kind of not surprised, when it comes to the failing of the release of those documents. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to lie. I'm really upset at the fact that it took this long for Trump to even do it. It did hurt his credibility with me. I personally don't like Pam Bondi for the position that she's in. I thought the binder situation that she had done earlier on with, those conservative commentators and influencers, I thought that was an epic fail as well. And so it just feels like no matter how much pressure you put on them, whether you be, part of any conservative movement or even, a woke left movement, we all kind of agreed we wanted to know what the heck was going on with the Epstein files, and no amount of pressure, we were going to get the truth. I did, however, find a couple of YouTube videos on how to hack those redactions. Literally, you can go upload those documents into Adobe Pro and then remove some of the redacted information. I was so surprised when I saw that.
You see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I was tracking what was happening after Marjorie Taylor Greene was going to war with Trump and some of the Republicans. And then when finally the documents came out, everybody was kind of upset because it was pretty much a redacted mess. And then I don't know who did it or who was the first one to post the video, but literally the person, there was some YouTuber, he literally uploaded the document to Adobe Pro and then removed some of the redactions. And it was Pam should not be in this job if she can't even securely redact safe and secure information. So some of the information was unredacted if you do it yourself manually. But I'm not happy with this release, to say the least.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mad Max in the comment section said, release the files. Then that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I remember during the election, they was pushing heavy for the Epstein files to be put out there to be revealed. I remember Charlie Kirk was even speaking on it. As a matter of fact, I have a clip of him talking on it. We'll probably watch in a minute. But where I'm at with it, I'm very simple man. Just release the files. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? What I will ask you is, because there's so many names that have also came up in Bill Clinton, Biden, this and that. This person.
I wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. That Clinton boy, wow. But no, but who do you think was probably on the list, or do you think maybe I'll even ask? Do you think Trump really is in there, or is that just the propaganda piece?
Honestly, I think Trump's in the files, but I don't think he's in the files the way people think that he is. I don't think him a pedophile. I don't think he went to the island. Honestly, when you're as wealthy as Epstein, there's no reason for me to get caught up in your cabal. Now, Epstein and him obviously had a friendly relationship, but that seems like to be the whole hub of Hollywood and just people, the elite specifically. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think he's in there like as a criminal. I think one could consider him like a person of interest. Like he knows something, but that explains the tit for tat between him and Marjorie Taylor Greene. He knows something. And I don't think it was a good play for the Democrats to start airing all these images of him and Epstein, because it's like, it's no different than when they raided his home with the FBI in Mar-a-Lago. It's like, you guys are going to push this man to go against you. And he's already protecting the elite already with these files. So they keep pushing him by posting those pictures and trying to suggest that he committed some kind of a foul crime towards minors, or that he went to the island in some way. Eventually he's going to turn his back. I'm hoping that happens. I'm not even going to lie, but if I were a Democrat in power, I would stop. But I don't think he's in the files as a criminal. I do think he's a person of interest, though. But there is a difference between being a person of interest and the criminal. You know, I can leverage the person of interest to get to said criminal. So I think that's him. But he did say to Marjorie Taylor Greene that a lot of his friends and a lot of people are going to get in trouble because of these files. And honestly, I think it's the linchpin. You pull the Epstein, you release all those documents, it's a done deal. We're going to know for certain that we are a nation under blackmail. And I think it's going to point to Israel specifically. I personally think Jeffrey Epstein is an agent of Mossad. And I totally believe that. I'm like, there's no convincing me that he wasn't. You don't have a Mossad agent living with the man in New York, and you don't have him wearing swag of the Mossad. You don't have him going around the world negotiating deals and backdoor arrangements for Israel. Like, every decision made is for Israel. Not to say that other nations didn't leverage the blackmail that he had accumulated. It's just he was a Mossad operation. And then when he realized that he can leverage it with other nations, he definitely did. But I think this was deployed by Mossad for sure. So I think that's what he's trying to protect, first and foremost, because I don't think he gives a damn about these Democrats. I mean, literally the entire elite class turned their back on him back in 2015 when he came down the staircase. So I don't even think this is about protecting the elite class of America. I do think it is about protecting his interests with Israel, I should say. That's what I really think.
Okay, for sure. I was looking through some of my clips here. I was going to probably play this Charlie Kirk clip because I thought he had a little take on it. It's a little bit of, okay, here we go. Let me screen share.
Just want to make sure. Is my mic too loud? Should I turn it down? Is everything all good?
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're straight. Screen.
The Epstein files, do you think it was more of a PR stunt?
Okay.
What's your opinion on the phase 1 release of the Epstein files? Do you think it was more of a PR stunt with Pam Bondi because she just got into office? And do you think it was right for her to call out on Kash Patel? What do you think is actually going on? Do you think that she genuinely has the files, or people are destroying them, and what's going on there?
Well, I think they got to make this right. I mean, we as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period.
Right.
And so yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list.
Yeah.
Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy to access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Yeah.
Secondly, there probably are a lot of destroyed documents. I think that's probably the issue.
Epstein's network is not just about one man. It's about a system of elites protecting each other. And that's why many...
Okay, yeah, I kind of bit that off of another YouTuber. But what do you think about his comments?
I think it's one of the reasons why he's dead, to be quite honest with you. Charlie was a threat to the elite class. I mean, he just kind of was. I mean, you know, the American spirit personified was Charlie Kirk. But he was right. I don't, you know, with all this technology out there, there's no reason why they couldn't have released these files day one. I get that, you know, investigations had to be done and all this, that, and a third, but this was a man who was investigated since I was like in diapers. I don't understand why it took this long to get there. And Charlie was right. They did run on transparency, but they flat out lied. I mean, let's call a spade. And Pam Bondi, when the binder thing happened, I was on Cash Patel's side. I was on Dan Bongino's side. And I was against Pam Bondi. Personally, I look at her like she's like the Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. Like she should not be the head of the DOJ. You should not be the top cop of the country. She's legally blonde. She should not be there. So she was an epic failure. She should be fired, and Judge Jeanine Pirro should be put in that position. But putting that aside, I'm pretty sure Judge Jeanine would be put in a similar position as Pam Bondi and Cash Patel as it relates to Epstein. This is just one of those things that they don't want touched. And it didn't matter how much advocacy Charlie did, as much as correct as he is in that clip you showed. It did not matter. It does not matter. The elite class does not want this out, because this is more than just finding out that they were laundering money, you know, the so-called white collar jobs, right? I mean, this isn't even like a case out of like murder mystery where you kill your wife for the insurance policy. Like even that is more acceptable. But we find out you went to Pedophile Island, and there's a lot more sinister and seditious stuff that happens on that island that is so satanic and ritualistic that if we find that you went there, it's worse than you murdering your wife for the insurance policy, right? Because it's so satanic. And crimes against minors, there is no rational justification, if you will. I mean, there's no real justification or rationale for murdering your wife for the insurance policy, right? But even that, right, there's something where you can understand it, right? I can understand your wife cheated on you, or you know, she stole from you. There's always something where it seems rational and you can understand why someone went the violent route. Crimes against children, there's no rationale, there's no justification. You know, the child didn't cheat, the child didn't betray. They are the closest to Christ as possible because they are that innocent. And so any crime against them is satanic, it's unforgivable. So we find that you were on that island, that's a whole other beast. So if that gets out, then all of their influence on society goes away to some degree. I mean, when you live in a society like ours, a Class A society where wealth determines power, I don't care what crimes you've committed. The amount of money you have is what's going to keep you safe. And the only way to take your power from you is to freeze all those accounts and to seize all of your assets. I mean, that's why they tried to go after Trump, right? Like financially. They debanked him, which is why he got into crypto in the first place, because he couldn't bank anywhere. And that's why he's in crypto. Then they tried to seize all of his assets. Now, he won those lawsuits, of course, but it's like he has power because of his wealth, his assets, his money. And when they tried to take all that away from him, luckily there was another way for him to maneuver. He got lucky with cryptocurrency. He got lucky with, you know, having influenced so many individuals and the majority of the population, because these were the people on the jury that helped him win his appeals. He made sure he put in the right judges. But when it comes to those Epstein files, if that gets out, I don't care how much money you have, like society will upend itself. I totally believe that. And I think that's one of his concerns. Because I think, no lie, if the truth came out fully, unredacted, we knew everything, I think you would see such a revolution in this country that I think 2/3 of our government and 2/3 of our major corporations would be hunted down by civilians. That's what I think. I think our government would collapse. I think we would have to start having special elections like yesterday. I think Main Street economy would have to like seriously hold it down for God knows how long, until we can bounce back from such a problem. And I think that's what he's concerned about, because it's like I said, it's the linchpin. You pull that, then I think the whole thing collapses. But I think it's not just America. I think the whole West collapses. I think Epstein was all over the place. I mean, we did see Queen Elizabeth before she died. She pretty much banished her son because he was connected to Epstein. I think he was one of the names on that list. But now he's not a part of the crown anymore. He's been banished, if you will, for lack of a better phrase, before she died. And King Charles has not brought his brother back into the fold, like at all. It's like, right, because you were named with Epstein. You are the monarchy of Britain, the last standing Western throne, and you're named with Epstein? Nah. If it goes that high, the whole Western world collapses. But that's part of the reason why I think he's protecting it. Like, it's bad. As much as Charlie was, as right as he was, they were never going to tell the truth. They were never going to do that. It's going to cause way too much damage. I would prefer it. I think, let what comes from, let America rise from the ashes.
Right.
But that's the linchpin, man. That's the linchpin.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the last question I'm going to ask on the whole Epstein files is, because I know you and our show are active Trump supporters. If it was concrete that he was in that letter or in the files, what would your take be on him? Would you still support him like you do now, or just support him like from a distance, like, you're just the president, but I really don't?
So what we can say, we still love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't trust the guy, because I have to say, love and trust is not always mutual.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes one can't exist without the other. And right now, it does feel that way for lots of reasons. But I can tell you right now, it's not the Epstein thing that broke the trust. Not entirely. It was hurting the trust, but it didn't break it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with you.
But with all that said, we knew he was going to be in the files. Both my sister and I knew he was going to be in the files. But we knew he's not a pedophile. Like, I knew. I mean, this is Hollywood. I mean, we can't sit here and act like, how do I say this? Like, life was just different. I mean, we've become so civilized in the 21st century, but we are forgetting that even like before the 90s, really, I mean, like the 70s and the 80s was just a completely different world.
Yes.
And, teenagers would go backstage to rock concerts and they would be giving BJs to rock stars. Like, they were teenagers doing this, and it was accepted. It was acceptable. You showed you could use a fake ID to get a tattoo, and it was less sanitation that was required. I mean, people could smoke cigarettes anywhere. They can do all of this foul stuff out in the open. You could do drugs in the clubs, and you can be sexually out there in public as you can be, right? So at rock concerts and things like that. But that was life, like men could hook up with anything and everything. The only thing that was really looked down upon was homosexuality. But promiscuity, drugs, that lifestyle, men being sexually out there and just hooking up just for hooking up and taking advantage of the women, not necessarily assault. But when you are that rich, these women throw themselves at you. And back then, there was no Me Too. They weren't, even the women back then were stronger then. They were stronger because they knew what they were doing when they went backstage, and when they were at the concerts throwing their underwear on the stage at Prince and Ozzy Osbourne. They knew what they were doing. You were trying to go backstage and hook up with Ozzy Osbourne or the drummer or one of the roadies. That was life in the 70s or the 80s. And so now all of a sudden we want to act oh my gosh, I can't believe this was happening. This is the world. I mean, that's what it was. You watch any movies from that time, that's what it was. And Trump was a part of that culture. So when we saw him on that Access Hollywood tape that they released during the first election, he went around, they were like, you could just grab them by the P word. Number one, he wasn't wrong when he said it, because if you got a lot of money, you could be the ugliest man. I don't care what you look like. You could look like Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, or Jimmy Neutron or Jimmy Neutron with the big ass head. Excuse my French. But if you have Trump money, they're going to hook up with you. And he knew that. And it wasn't assault. It was one of those, no, they want you to, because one of two things. They either want a story to tell their girlfriends or they want to trap you by having your baby.
Yep.
That was what it was. Trump knew it. He was a part of that lifestyle. And Epstein was a huge part of that fabric. And so you could go to a party and see Epstein. And he did. Those are the pictures. But he wasn't going to commit no crime. This isn't a man who had to commit crime. He was a millionaire already. Like his father gave him $1 million. Like he was already from a wealthy family. So no, I don't think he was a criminal. I think nope, he didn't even do drugs because his brother was dying of like I think either drug overdose or alcohol poisoning. So he wasn't even. Yeah, so it's like he wasn't even the guy to do that. I think the most you're gonna find is like public indecency. Like maybe he let some, wannabe actress give him a BJ when he was doing The Apprentice and he was cheating on his first wife. But that's pretty much it. I knew he was going to be in the files. We knew he would be. But this was because he would be connected to Epstein from that environment. But you could connect pretty much anybody to Epstein from Hollywood, like you just could. The only way you didn't know Epstein is if you just entered Hollywood and you were so low on the totem pole. Like that was the only way you didn't know Epstein. But if you were a producer, if you were an actor, a writer, a director, if you were in news broadcast, if you were in music, if you were even in academia, you knew this guy. Didn't matter which part of the elite orbit you were in, you knew Epstein. And so, yeah, he was going to be in the files. You're going to find a whole bunch of people in the files. Some people who had nothing to do with those crimes. So that's why I do know it was important for them to pay attention to what names were dropped. But to act like the American people are stupid, it's like, well, if all the information is there, I know that John Doe was a person of interest, but he had committed no crime. So yeah, John Doe is not of interest to me. I'm scratching that name off my list, going on to the next name. Like, stop treating the American people like we're stupid, acting as if we can't differentiate who a person of interest is and who the actual criminal or suspect in these cases are. That was one of the things that was bothering the most from Mike Johnson and some of these other Republicans who were like, no, because there are innocent names that are mentioned in this. It's not to say that there aren't, but stop thinking we can't differentiate that. Like, we're not a crazy ass mob going after them. We can read in between the lines. We can read the actual documents. We can differentiate who is who. And I think Trump was a person of interest. So I never suspected him of being a criminal. Neither did my sister. We never suspected him of that. I knew he was a man of his years. I mean, but that was society. I mean, like even Bill Cosby, he's a creep, but he wasn't a criminal. But these women coming forward, whoa, is me. It's like, you knew damn well you tried to trap the man. Mm-hmm. You knew you wanted a story to tell. You wanted to hook up with Bill Cosby because he's Bill Cosby. Now all of a sudden he's assaulted you during the Me Too movement. Okay, so Trump throws a party, Epstein shows up. Oh, but because he took a picture with the host of the party, Trump is now associated with him. Now I'm one of those people who believe, not necessarily guilty by association, but choosing your friends wisely was one of the best lessons taught growing up. Choose your friends wisely. I'm not going to hang around criminals because criminals, when they commit a violent act and I know you or I'm around it, though I'm not the one who committed said crime, I am now a person of interest, whether that makes me a witness, a suspect, or a victim. So I would have never been friends with Epstein, but my upbringing is different than Trump's upbringing, right? Like he was not taught well, if you ask me, about choosing your friends wisely. He did not choose his friends wisely at all because Epstein was showing up at the parties until he assaulted his staff. Now it was like, get out of my hotel. I think Trump did not like he will protect his people. Don't come at mine. He, the way that he is with his staff and with his employees, because he respects hard work. And people who he hired worked hard for him, so he would protect them. That's how he is with the American people. Don't come at mine. This is why if one American dies, I'm bombing your whole region. That's Trump's whole thing. Mm-hmm. Like Venezuela, and you look at all the narcotics coming across the border. You're like, you killed how many young Americans? Now he's seizing your oil tankers and he's bombing the cartels and he's ready to send in foot soldiers, into Venezuela. There's more there, obviously. but that's consistent with his character. Come at mine, I'm going hard on you. Don't be surprised that he was in the files. I don't think any of us were. He should have known. He should have just known, choose your friends wisely, because he clearly did not. But not a shocker. Not at all. Not at all. Wasn't surprised.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you answered that question because actually getting back to something you said, this is going to all come full circle. When you was talking about the things that happened in the 70s and the 80s when it came to the groupies and the rock stars, right? Which actually brings us into the next part of our subject when I was talking about Miss Jourine. I misspelled her name when I texted you. Jourine.
Yes, I had to chat GPT that like nobody's business. I was like, who the heck are these people? I don't know. Like what?
One of those streamers people.
Yeah, like there was a like I think one of them, I think the accused is a Twitch streamer.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's tied in with I don't know if you know Kai said not. I'm pretty sure you know Kai. And pretty much I have the video up here. We're gonna watch it. But I just had to give a commentary, like going back to even this Epstein files, right? How they had the girls come out and say, "Oh, they did this. No one believed this." Blah blah blah. See, I believe in, at least in my humble opinion, the reason why there's always doubts when it comes to certain situations like this is going into this example I'm about to present today of the Jourine Paulines of the world, or Jourine Pauline, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
False accusations is a very serious crime. You know what I mean? Or serious accusations, and to be slung around just like willy nilly like that is very disturbing, at least in my take on this. And I think, and basically, my overall point is, I know females where this has really happened to them, to where it's insulting when women like this are doing it just for like a come up, like how you said. Her and Tyil did do something, but I mean, I don't believe that was rape, even the way. I mean, excuse me. Sex essay.
Don't even get me started. I don't even know why people are using words like in terms like grape and
essay.
I don't understand. Why can't we say these words? I don't like. What is the point? Side note. I don't get it. I literally on my channel, I don't even mince words.
No, because they blocked me before. I'm not blocked me, but they knocked me down before. You feel me?
Are you serious? I didn't even know they did that. I'm like, I don't even play those word games. I swear.
I hate playing them too. I really do. That's why I was like, because I started to say grape, and then I was just got twisted up in my head like this.
I know what you mean.
It's crazy, but no, I think that's my overall issue with the Pauline thing is they also have this quote called "Believe all women." Well, it'll be hard to do that when you have examples like this young lady doing this. Now, I don't know if you saw the clip, but I'm gonna go ahead and play. Did you see her clip where she was explaining what happened and all that, or?
Not at all. I literally, I chat GPT'd it when we were messaging earlier about what the topics would be. I was like, let me research this. And obviously it's AI and it's chat GPT and it's not always 100% accurate. It does hallucinate, less now since its update, but I didn't know who the heck these people were. I don't track streamers or Twitch things like that. I don't really cover pop culture like that and on my channel, and the only time I really do, it's really to cover like what the latest happening with like what's happening with Warner Brothers and Paramount, right? Like that's the most. Like I didn't even offer my commentary on the whack ass ending of Stranger Things, so I don't really cover pop culture. Really the last thing I said that had anything to do with pop culture is when Nicki Minaj turned up at America Fest. Like that was it.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, I don't even cover this. So I started chat GPTing it and it was like, who are these people? What happened? What's going on? Who's suing who? Were there criminal allegations made? Is there a criminal case pending? These are the questions I need to ask and I need answers to. And that's pretty much it. I didn't watch any clips. ChatGPT like gives you links and stuff to what videos to watch, but I didn't click not one of them. I'm like, you know what? When I get into the live stream, I'm sure, the host of the show will have some clips for me to watch and offer commentary, but I just needed a general overview of what the heck and who was who.
Right. And to meet you halfway on that, to be honest with you, Asia, I don't really be into all the celebrity junk. It's just when certain things go viral, you can't stop seeing it. You go to 3 different platforms, you just can't stop seeing it. Because this thing happened like a week ago, but I just kept coming through the algorithm. So I said, you know what, let me just get my take on it. Because mostly my channel I dedicated to doing more Christian content now. Yeah. But I also try to merge in some current events because everything I feel like we could find in the word. But I digress. Yeah. But back to this though. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. And I just want to see if you think it's genuine. In my opinion, it's not. But I just want to see from you. See her.
You got it.
Yeah. take on this.
The reason why he stopped anyway is because I started boo-hoo crying, you guys. I was crying, and he taped me as I'm crying like this. He was like, "Why are you crying?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like, because like I didn't want to, like, you know. And he's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna talk to you again." I'm like, I don't care if you talk to me again. It doesn't matter if you talk to me again. It's the simple fact of like me not wanting to even go down that route because you have a fucking girlfriend. This isn't the first time I've been assaulted, but this is the first time I've been assaulted by someone popular and famous, I guess. And
my bad, Ezra. Did you want to say something? That's sorry.
No, I'm just like shaking my head. Like she's killing me. You could play the clip as long as you need to, but right now she's irritating me right now because
Right.
I need to. It's like, how long from the moment it happened to her recording this video? If this was a live stream, was this a live stream or was it like she pre-recorded it and posted? Do you know?
She did 2 live streams, and
this is a live stream that she's doing.
Yes.
Got you. So yeah, how long from the moment the alleged attack happened to when she went live stream? Because she seems way too put together for this to be like right after. That's the first thing.
Right.
The second thing is she's not struggling. Talk about it. SA victims, I don't care how empowered women feel today after such an attack. It just, it's like to tell your own story like that. I mean, for really any kind of a personal story. I mean, even when people talk about like their porn addiction, it puts them in such a vulnerable position that they struggle to get the words out. And that's when they're talking about their own sexual deviancy and not a sexual assault. So I'm like, if that's what it is, talking about their own personal deviancy, why am I not seeing any kind of emotional nuance in her talking about her own SA? You know, it's like the math ain't math in here.
Right.
It ain't it, you know, nah. She's one of those women who would have gotten mad if her attacker was released like Bill Cosby, because you're lying.
Right. The other way you know how she's lying is I don't know if it was in this clip or the other one where she was saying basically she didn't want to do anything with him. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. Then if you listen to what she said a few minutes ago, she hurried up and uttered it under her breath. And I want to point out, she said
something about a girlfriend.
Yep, that part. You feel me? Because it's like it's not like you're saying you wouldn't have had sex with him. You're just saying you wouldn't because he had a girlfriend and slid that in there.
Yep.
See that right there? It's called.
Yeah, when I was doing my background on it on ChatGPT, it did say that he has proof that she tried to extort him, and I'm like, her saying that about how he has a girlfriend, it helps his claims about extortion. It's like, what you think? Like, I swear, these people think we're stupid. Like, there's too many cop shows on television. We can literally pull this together. Like, I don't have to be the best detective, but I watched enough Detective Olivia Benson to tie some coincidences together. You say you were willing to do it, but you didn't want to because he has a girlfriend, but he's saying that he has proof of extortion. You're saying you would have, but you didn't want to because of the girlfriend. You see that? It's like A plus B equals C. That's suggesting that maybe you hooked up with him to get something from him. He was like, no, I didn't make you any promises. She got mad and she started to blackmail him. Give me this, that, or the third, or I'm going to say this, that, and a third to your girlfriend. Why do I think that happened? Because in this video, she's saying because he got a girlfriend under her breath. I mean, you know, one doesn't, right? Like, a person does not have to be the illest forensic auditor or detective to figure that out. I mean, I think she's lying. Like, I don't buy it, like, at all. I'm not buying it.
And neither do I, Asia. And the reason why we have these conversations, or at least I have these conversations, to bring light to certain situations, like with this, like I said, this really makes it bad for women really do go through that, because it makes it
Oh, yeah.
everybody always ask, well, what were you wearing? This and that. This is where that comes from, because
Yeah.
we have people that are just disingenuous like this just to get to pay somebody back because they didn't do what you wanted. That to
Yeah.
me, that level of degeneracy is just it just makes it hard for the next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason
Honestly, I think two things.
Mhm.
I think, people can talk about, what women were wearing and all that stuff. I know that comes from them asking those questions because, sometimes women do lie. You want to know, did you bring it on yourself, kind of a thing? Not to come off a kind of way by saying that, but I understand why men ask those questions, because it's not to be insulting. It's to prepare you, and it's to protect you. Don't wear this, that, and a third. I'm not saying that you dressing like a hoe is justification to be assaulted. I'm saying that there are predators out there who will take advantage because you appear to be promiscuous. And it's from a protective perspective when men say that. So I don't really get offended when when they ask, well, what were you wearing when this happened? Right? Trying to eliminate possible reasons for why this could happen, or even possibly eliminate the attacker's ability to say, no, she wanted it. She was wearing this. She wanted me, that, and a third. Like, there are other reasons why men ask that. So I offer grace to men who ask those questions. Really just depends on the man you're talking to. But even when you look at the 60s, women were being sexually assaulted then.
Right.
But this was a time where women dressed conservatively. So I don't want to hear that, it's about what a woman was wearing, to those comments that we see sometimes. When the comment about what were you wearing was coming off very insulting, where it's like, well, what do you say about a time where women were conservative? It wasn't just prostitutes being sexually assaulted. It was also conservative dressing females as well. So that it literally goes out the window when you bring those stats in.
Right. And it just
comes off like a woman who was ready to hit the casting couch to get what she wanted.
Exactly.
It's like you laid for a job that he never offered. She just thought, oh no, I'm that I'll get it. And when he was like, no, I never made that promise. I came to smash and dash. And this is my critique of men. Stop smashing and dashing. Don't do that. These women are trifling. Like I tell that to my nephews. Don't be hooking up with these girls. Don't. We don't know who's a good girl. And sometimes they appear to be good girls, but then they're not. Sometimes you got to watch out for the quiet one. Sometimes it's the quiet one that will, stab you or something. Like, you just got to be careful with these women. Don't go out there hooking up for the sake of hooking up. Don't do it. It's easy. Sex is easy. Anyone can get it. Homeless people can get it. This is not hard. It's easy. But this is what happens. Like, you think about, what is that man's name? Why, for the life of me, now I can't think of it. He works very closely with Stephen A. Smith, and now he's all caught up.
Not Shannon Sharp, right?
Yeah.
You talking about
Shannon Sharp? Yeah. Look at him. Like, that's the situation with him, because he was out there. He was being promiscuous with these young women instead of being a dad and a grandpa. It's like, if you were being a dad and a grandpa, you wouldn't got caught up with that girl. Don't be out there hooking up randomly, and you would be okay. You know what I mean? It would be a lot better for him. But Tyil was only in this because he smashed and dashed. Now you got to sue. Now you got to sue abroad because she's lying about you. You see, you could have avoided all that if he just went home to your girlfriend after you did whatever recording or stream he was doing. Would have been just fine.
Well, I mean, that's one way to look at it, and I agree with you to the extent of men learning to keep it in their pants. Yes, I do agree with that.
It's safer that way.
Safer, but wouldn't it be better if we had a system that didn't endorse liars either? You know what I mean? Because like in all these cases,
touche, but it's like, the reason why it's not to say that what you're saying is wrong, because it's correct. It would be better to have a system that didn't endorse liars. But the reality is we don't have control over what government's going to do, what laws they're going to pass. I mean, I know they say we can vote them in, vote them out, all that stuff. It's highly doubtful. Mm-hmm. But what we have control over is our own actions. I can only control what I do in the world. I can't control what government's going to do. I can't control the law that they pass. I can't, even though they say, well, you can vote and change the policies and change the justice system, when you're learning more about how distorted our government is and how untrustworthy our Department of Justice is, I have no control over that, because that's what it's ultimately what I've learned at minimum these last 10 years, right? Since Trump came down the escalator, I've learned how bad my justice system is, how bad my Congress is, how bad all of my institutions are. So I can't control that. I can control my effort in the world, though. I don't have to put myself in vulnerable positions. I can choose my friends wisely. I can choose not to be promiscuous because it's safer. I can choose not to walk. I can choose to keep it in my pants. I can choose not to do those things because I have control over my own actions. Now, though the system may support Jourine or whatever, how I pronounce her name, Tyil would not be in this situation at all had he kept it in his pants. If you acknowledge that we have a system that endorses or protects women who lie, then your best action would be to not put yourself in a situation where she would lie about you. If you're never alone with her, that's number one. If you the job with someone else in the room that you trust. So if she does try to lie anyway, well, there's no way I could be here because I'd be there. I've been here. Well, I have a witness that was in the room with us, so there's no way. Like if he just completed the job and went home, he would not be in this situation. He's now in a position where he has to say, no, it was consensual. But if you didn't hook up, you wouldn't be in this. If you acknowledge that we have a system that is that flawed, then what? It's like you only have control over your own effort.
Absolutely, and I agree with you to the degree of what you said about we have control over our own actions. However, we are also mammals too. You know what I'm saying? We
rein that in. Rein it in.
Rein it in. Okay.
Rein it in. Rein in that animalistic tendency. Rein it in.
Okay, but listen. I was just trying to say it like this: men and women are going to have sex, right? I mean, that's something that is that is a part of mankind being human, being in this world, just as much as having a system. But we shouldn't have a system that's set up to where it's like, well, you should. Okay, put it like this: she shouldn't be able to lie just because the laws allow her to. We can have laws reformed as well. Right? Especially if we see so many rich men getting screwed over by women. We saw it with the Trump. We saw it with so many other, like Jourine's trying to get Tyil out the way right now. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that should not be in place. And the laws and the lawmakers know these things are bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah.
They know this. So some of these things should be brought to the negotiation table. We should be brought to put this on the ballot. We should talk about that, especially like this, Asia. Let's just say Tyil did do this to her. She should be trying to file criminal charges, not civil charges.
Sorry, I just read that comment from I think that's what does that to say? The Slit?
The Slit.
Yeah, exactly one of my viewers.
Bro. Hey, I gotta keep that in mind, brother. Record everything.
I mean, you're in a surveillance state, right? So maybe he's ahead of the game in that regard. But that there is why, if you're these together, you won't have to worry about being caught on recordings, ladies. I'm just saying.
That's crazy. But I agree with the majority of what you're saying. Like, there should be some sexual discipline for sure, but there should also be some laws in place, especially after we see so many men get screwed over. Like, I believe Shannon Sharp got screwed over just because.
Yeah.
They had sex with these women doesn't mean they're supposed to go and look at this as a money hack and just get money out of them. Nah.
I do agree with you on that. Like, there's nothing that you're saying that I disagree with. I 100% agree with everything that you're saying. As it relates to, we should have better laws on the books that do protect men. I mean, the 21st century, I have to say, seems to be at least the first 25 years of it seem to have been in favor of the female in every way.
Matriarchal.
I do. Yeah. In every way, jobs, housing priority, custody, sexual assault claims, It's just it's been the power's been with the women. There is coming because I'm noticing that there are some cases where men are getting custody where the women are now paying child support. So I'm seeing some fairness starting to creep back in slowly. But with that said, I have to say our society kind of deserves what it has. It deserves to have a society being destroyed by women having the protection that they have. It deserves it. I mean, we're not a just moral Christian people anymore. We're not that.
We're not.
And when you are a deviant people, expect your laws to be in favor of said deviancy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why these women can get away with it, because it protects them, right? But I mean, they only have this protection because men are being sexually deviant. And then we can go down, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the men being sexual deviants, or is it the women making themselves sexually available? And that's a chicken or the egg kind of a debate.
Right, circle.
I laid that burden at the feet of the men because, I'm one of those women who are like, all hail the patriarchy. I need the men to take back control like yesterday. Put these women back in the chastity belts, take the key and lock it up in a Brinks locks box, and don't take it out until she's married. That's how I'm feeling. I need the men to take society back. Like, they need to take it back. Now, I think we have more protection on the books for women, so men can't beat their wives anymore. They can't sexually assault their wives and say it's consensual because they're married. Ladies do have more protection and equal protection under the law now. And I think that was the max. That's where the line was supposed to stop. Equal protection under the law was where it was supposed to stop. Not more protection, not more power under the law, equal. That's where it was supposed to stop. But men were supposed to maintain power over the culture. They were supposed to maintain that power, get it back. But to do that, you're going to have to rein in the thing that makes you weak. And your own sexual deviancy makes you that. You are at the behest of these trifling women because it's easy to get. They're always there. So you're going to hustle, make money. And instead of using it to take back control, you're going to use it to attract the hoes. Don't do that. Rein in the thing that makes you weak. It's not sex per se that makes you weak, because you're right, we're mammals. And sex is something that humans will do. But without discipline, you will lose control and it will open up problems. And that is exactly what's happened to Tyil. That's why America today lacks in a lot of ways, because men have lost control. Now, I think they did it for a whole bunch of reasons. I don't think it had anything to do with sex. I think it had everything to do with just having more tax revenue, personally. But by handing over the reins of control of our society to women, our nation has gone to hell in a handbasket. Take it back. Take it back. But to do that, you have to be more disciplined. Don't be hooking up with these hoes. Don't hook up with all these women. Stop having sex just for the hell of it, because you can. Rein it in and take back America. Like, because that's why I put the burden on men. It's y'all's job. Like, women have to follow you. That is our job, is to follow you. But I can't follow a man toward sexual deviancy. Like that's taking us both to hell. Like, it's your job to, trek a path towards Christ. I got to follow you there. But, you're not headed in that direction. And so America is what it is today. These laws are what it is today because women have had control for God knows how long. And men have just let them. A lot of men in power have become simps towards females for whatever the reason. You can overanalyze it. You can diagnose it. There's some sinister reason for it. Everyone could always do that. You could point it to, someone trying to make us more of a globalist society. I mean, there's tons of reasons for why you can say they let women take control over culture and everything else in America. There's always 1,000 reasons for it. The answer is men need to take it back. American Christian men. take it back. But to do that, stop hooking up. Like, it's why the burden is with you, because it's your job.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is a man's job to lead. But I will propose this to you, though. In a society where men are supposed to, take back the power, basically abdicate the power from the women, how would you suggest a man do that in a society where it's not like you can put your hands on the woman, which I'm not suggesting men should do that, but you can't.
Sometimes, because she stabs you with a fork, punch your B word out.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. For sure. My life or your life, yes. I'm gonna choose mine every time.
Word.
I was just saying, like, in a society, because of the way basic society is matriarchal, as I like to say. For me, it's kind of governed.
Unfortunately.
What women want. And then a lot of times, a lot of men, like you're right, a lot of men do need to stand up, you know what I'm saying, and really step up and take back our leadership position. But in order to do that, especially in the wild times we live in, it's going to take some I would say, it's going to take some strong measures. What would you say about what would be the first thing a man should do if he had to take back the power? What should he do?
First things first, stop caring what these women have to say. Because a perfect example. There was a video I watched a couple of weeks ago. There was a black man who was out in the community, and he was telling the community what went wrong and what ideas he has to save their community. And all these black women came out of nowhere, started yelling at him and just hollering and screaming. And he's pretty much called those women out, pretty much saying, you're not, like, your sons are running around here like young thugs because you don't want to respond or take orders from a black man, right? But now, where were the other black men? Why was he by himself? Because those women will shut up with a quickness. If there were like a dozen of those black men, they would shut up with a quickness. Show up in numbers, because I don't care how many cackling hens there are around. They will be intimidated by the men.
Right.
It's show up strong. You show up tough. Don't show up wearing the suits. Don't show up looking like a simp. No. You show up tough. That's the first thing. Let them cackle all they want. Shut it down. You have that authority. Say it from your gut. Shut it up. Because they'll listen. Women can cackle all they want. They can act like they're tough, and they'll act like that they want to fight the men. But the second they get in front of a real one, they're not putting their hands on him. Right. They're not gonna be all up in their faces like that. You're not gonna put your hands on a real one like that. Like, no woman is gonna put their hands on 50 Cent. No woman's gonna, damn well, no woman's gonna do that, because a real one is in front of her. And so men have to show up that tough. That's the first thing. One up is the first thing. The second thing is to not give a damn and to take control. You wrangle up these young boys. You wrangle them up, because the women they're not doing it. They don't have the authority. Their children are not afraid of them. Right. And that's just specifically with Black America. As a nation, as a whole, it's something else. Like, honestly, that's a policy thing where you just need you need your Congress people to not be so soft. Honest, America is just so damn civilized. It's one of the problems. It's so civilized that it doesn't that society doesn't really have this, I'll put it in air quotes, but doesn't have a need for real violent men, because we've become so civilized. But it was a man's capacity to be a violent monster that kept everybody in check. Because if you step out of pocket, that violence can show itself. And because we're so civilized, that side of men have been neutralized. Get it back. And fear is a marvelous weapon. Use it. Use it.
Well, two things, Asia, I'm gonna add on to what you said. We're gonna number one, I'm gonna start with what happens with us as men. One problem I notice as men that I call us out for is not being able to get along with each other. Like when you gave this scenario about, you said there was a black man that was trying to talk to the crowd, and the black women kind of jumped on him like that. Where were the other men? Well, here's another thing about a lot of men. A lot of men, and this is what I can't stand, is that they don't know how to unite with other men because they're too busy trying to
compete.
Either Yeah, I'll compete, but it's okay for men to compete, but not at certain moments. And that would be a moment where it wouldn't be healthy to compete. Number two, what I will say also is some of those men that are jealous of other men and do that kind of weird stuff, some of them are raised by the very same females that were like, imagine how many of those women that were barking at that man had sons. We could agree that they probably were looking ignorant. That's what's bringing up your son. So when you say the men have become softer, that's the other side of matriarchy, where remember, if everything in there is governed by the woman, then so are the boys.
Yeah, it's a chicken or the egg situation. I mean, because it's just a loop that never ends. And that's the problem. But the first thing would be for men in general to take culture. Like, you have to do that. It's just no more romance movies. No more of that. No more. And if you are going to do romance movies, then men need to write them, because it's like the way a man tells a romantic story is completely different than how a woman tells a story. A man is a man in those stories. When a man tells romance, it's not like you're incapable of talking about romance or telling a romantic story. But why? It ain't going to be, oh, he was crying because he lost her. No, that's not how we tell that story. He's a man. He's tough. He's strong. He went to he went to go box something out. Like, I'll never forget, like Last Dragon, for example, when he thought he lost vanity, what was he doing? He was doing some freaking karate in the damn gym. He wasn't crying about it. Like, right. That's how men deal with loss. So you have to take back culture, do it in movies, do it in your podcast. That's why everybody really likes Andrew Tate. This is why people are really gravitating towards Nick Fuentes, specifically young white men, because it's masculine and they don't give a damn. Stop caring about what people are going to call you. Just don't care. Take back culture by just being present in it, by showing up in it, and not caring is a huge part of that. Another part of it is wealth. Money is power in this country. That's the thing. That is the superpower in a Class A society like the United States of America. You need money. Do it legally. Do it legitimately. Be the masculine, tough American Christian man with money. Now you have power. These women have nothing but cackling. That's it. You can take over American culture that way, but one needs money to do that. You need to be masculine, you need to be disciplined, and you need money. And so I get that men don't always get along, because sometimes you can have the tough man who was raised by his father, and then you can have the simpy dude who was raised by his mother. But the only way you're going to penetrate the simp is by exposing him via culture. He's watching the man, he's watching the manosphere, because he knows something is lacking in his own life.
Exactly. And I have to cut you off right there, because in the manosphere is the clearest evidence of what I'm talking about. Like, we'll be on the topic. I say we because I'm part of the audience and I'll chime back and forth. Or we'll just say us in the panel. We'll be having a discussion. We'll always be that dude. We always those are the ones I like to call the effeminate men, because they always have to come in, and they come in male discussions like either sounding like women or just attacking the other men because they think it's going to make them look good to the women. And that stuff like that is always interrupts exactly what you're talking about, this collaborative effort of black men. That's exactly what the black manosphere is. You feel me? That's what the whole Tate and him doing, that is men standing up, as you're saying. But it seems like the most resistance we're having is from the women, when they'll benefit if they were to just play like how you said, play the role of, we're following you.
Yeah.
To follow someone means you can't act and rebel when you see them doing something positive. And that's where, even in your example with the women yelling at the man, seemed like he was trying to do something positive, but he was outnumbered.
A huge part of it is going to be in what's available to the market, right? I mean, this is going to be a market thing. This isn't going to be a policy change. It's not that policy will come after culture shifts. A lot of reasons why women feel like they have power is because they have a lot of money. Social media has provided an opportunity. I mean, look, I'm creating my own streaming platform that's coming out this year. I have a podcast. I'm doing well online with online businesses. AI is coming out, and I make money doing AI stuff. Yeah. So, there's a plethora of opportunity in the digital marketplace. But I am someone who said to herself, I don't want this huge responsibility. I need a man to come in at some point to lead me the rest of the way. There's only but so much I know how to do on my own that I feel that I am capable of handling. Like, I'm meant to nurture children, not a business. They're two different things. Business is empire. right? Legacy is family, it's children. I can nurture the children of the legacy. It's the husband's job to nurture the kingdom of said legacy, right? So even I know my position, but not all women who enter the digital entrepreneur space think that. And when you have opportunities like OnlyFans, for example, where mostly women, like, I don't even know how else to put it. Like when mostly women are dominating, right? Because it's mostly the women on OnlyFans, for example, are the ones making the most money. But who built these platforms? Men did. And men built them specifically to exploit women. I mean, that's, Facebook, YouTube, they just wanted to make funny videos. It's not until Google bought it where it changed, right? So I'll give the brothers from the college campus different when they built YouTube. But, these platforms were built and women had more of an opportunity because of the digital space, because physically they're more appealing, attractive to the eye and all that jazz. And so now it's about what do men build moving forward. Building platforms specific for men is going to be helpful. And then allowing those men to outcompete women in the digital space to build better and faster. That has to happen. Build more, earn more, faster. Because when you have all the wealth, women are going to be forced to follow you, right? Like when you look at Anton Daniels, for example, and how all these women came onto his platform, they can talk all the talk that they want to talk, but why they still show up on his panels? Because he's giving them the opportunity, but why they come correct on his platform, right? They don't clap at him because he will remove you. That's the kind of man that he is. You need more men like that. Not to say that you're not going to have those simps, not to say that you're not going to have those men who think, no, women can have power too. No, they can't. They shouldn't. It's not to say that women can't have businesses, but women need to know their positions and where their limits are. Considering how big I would like for my business to get, I need a man on board. I need a man to come take the CEO position. I don't want to be the CEO of my own damn company because I know what it takes to build and to, for it to be as big as I see it in my head and as I want it to be. There's only but so far I can take it as a female. And so when men take the lead and they show up and they earn more and they build for society, the market will follow, the market will change. And when men have more of the when they have more of the power, the financial power in society, I think you'll see a shift come. And I think that's how you take back American culture. I think you're starting to see a shift now because it's mostly women who are in debt, mostly women who had these safe jobs. And, with AI coming, I know we have all everyone's concerned about robotics and everything, but it's women who are going to struggle the most, who are going to be hit hardest the most, because we're the ones who have the easy jobs. Men are still going to have to go drill for oil. Men are still going to have to do the underwater welding. Men are still going to have to be plumbers and electricians. Men are still going to be the one building the bridges, because ain't a woman going up on the top of no Brooklyn Bridge. She ain't doing that.
Right.
She's not getting on she's not getting on an oil rig. She's not going underwater wearing 50-pound gear to go weld. She's not doing that. And so when women take a huge blow in the economy, and this is why I tell people on my platform not to be, to be prepared for the shift that's coming. But honestly, I think the shift that's going to hurt the most is going to be women. And that is the perfect opportunity for men to take back their position, because it's going to be you that women they're going to be forced to rely on men at that point. You have no job now. AI can do what you do. It can sit at the computer now. It can do all of the data entry. It can do all of the data and analytics. It can do social media marketing. It can do all of those things. Hell, you can create a likeness of yourself and it can do podcasting. There's no need for you anymore. Men can deploy virtual digital influencers. Why am I hiring these women now? OnlyFans can deploy AI characters now. They don't need the girls anymore. Why am I sharing the profit with real women when I can just use AI to create fake ones? And then those women are going to get kicked off the platform. I've already heard how a lot of these OF agencies that are starting, they would try to recruit women to get on OnlyFans. They don't even have to do that anymore because they can just create an AI influencer to be on OnlyFans now. And now I can deploy 1,000 of these AI influencer women. I don't need real women anymore. So this digital space is going to change where women are going to lose so much that they have no choice but to depend on men. It is the perfect opportunity for men to step up, take back culture, take back America. That's the way to do it. Women are going to come to blows and like they're going to lose a lot soon. Now's the time for men to like literally step up. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot more rising of strong commentators of men. Like a lot more male podcasters are popping up now. And they're not all in the manosphere. Because personally, I look at Andrew Tate and I think he's the other side of the coin to your Lena Dunhams. I'm like, she's a feminist and he's on the extreme end of masculinity. These are the sides of the same extremist coin. The center would be men take control of culture and women live in that society of which men built. That's normal. That's fair. That's balanced. That's where we're headed toward. But men have to seize the opportunity. I think this is the perfect time to do it. But men have to be up for the challenge and they have to be disciplined. Like Tyil needs to not get caught up with these chicks. If Tyil don't get caught up with these chicks, he can totally like. He doesn't even know how much power he can have, but he's got
and you know, to add on to what you're saying, actually, that's exactly what he's doing because I know with the streaming world, a lot of them put each other on. So that's like one black millionaire making another black millionaire. Yes, it's in the streaming field, but streaming is winning right now. So really he is one of the, actually an example. Him, Kai, I Show Speed, these people like that. Yeah, they're doing exactly what you're saying. So I do see the shift for sure. I do.
It's a perfect opportunity. I mean, because again, my business is called America First AI Network, right? And I use AI to create cartoons for crying out loud and to vibe code like software. So I use AI. I've learned how to use it. And I know that there are women who are learning how to use AI and how to deploy it and all those things. The only people who are going to succeed in the new economy that's coming are going to be owners, business owners, people who know how to deploy these systems, people who know how to maintain them, people who know how to build them. And the only, I think, and that's going to be a very scarce kind of economy. So the only real money is going to be in IRL work, and that's going to be in manual labor. And that's where men come in. Women are going to need men again. That's the society we're headed toward, because for too long, society has been designed to make it so easy for women that they just didn't need their men. Right? By government coming in and saying, I'll be your husband and providing for you. By the education system saying, oh, well, for 8 hours, we'll teach your children. By building out some of the things that we have. I mean, even down to the vacuum cleaner and the washer machine, right? It made life easier. Now, some we can bet some I can say I'm grateful for. The dishwasher, the washer and dryer, the vacuum cleaner, grateful for those things. I'm not grateful for the education system, not grateful for it at all. Public education, I prefer homeschool. And it's not until all the problems with public education that people are starting to look at it like a viable option. It's like, why wasn't it already a viable option? But you don't have time to because, well, I got to go to work. Well, when you were married, he worked. You could raise and homeschool your kids. You could have just done that. And now we're headed towards a society where now everybody wants to homeschool their kid. Women don't even want to be in the workforce. They want to work from home. But then why are you at work? Well, now we don't need you to work. We got AI for you now. You have to depend on a man. Government's running out of money. That's the problem with socialism. Welfare is running out of money. So who's going to take care of you? If the government's not sending you a check anymore, you're going to have to be dependent on the man. But who's going to be making the most money? The people in the labor jobs. Well, that's going to be men. I'm not getting on an oil rig. I'm not going underwater to weld. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting on a bridge to maintain the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm not doing it. So I need a man in my life. I need a husband. Children are going to need the fathers in the home. You need that. That's the society we're headed toward. If men see it and seize it, tell you, 10 years by 2035, man, men will have the power again. And men, I can't wait. All hail the patriarchy. That's what I say.
All right.
All hail the patriarchy. I know I just went on a rant about that, but it's like I'm so sick of these women being. I'm so sick of women. I'm sick of them. I'm so sick of it. And I'm a woman who's got 1,000 sisters. But My second favorite sibling is my older brother. I mean, my first favorite is my twin sister. You know, she's my womb buddy. You know, womb to grave. That's me and my twin. But my second favorite sibling is my older brother. I value his perspective a lot. You know, when I get into a new relationship, it's him I call for advice. How do I talk to him? How do I make sure that I'm not coming off disrespectful? How can I voice my concerns without coming off naggish? You know, because I want a male perspective, so I know how to communicate effectively with a man that I'm in a relationship with. He's who I go to. You know, it's his opinion I value tremendously. You know, it's his. I talk to my father. I talk to my stepfather about a lot of things. It's his perspective, the male perspective. It comes with discipline. It comes with real structure. This is where women really lack, and it's not like it's not a bad thing per se, but it's not in our nature to be that way. We're not designed that way. We're designed differently. We're more fluid. We're more water, where men are more like rock solid. Women need to play their position, depend on men, and I think that's where we're headed back toward. And I can't wait. I'm sick of these women. Sick of them. So sick of them.
I understand.
It may have started during Me Too. I'm not even gonna lie. It may have started there.
You said what? I'm sorry?
It may have started during the Me Too movement. May have started there.
Yes, yeah, that got on my nerves really the whole time.
Because right now I could care less about women's rights. I care less. I swear. It's starting to sound good. You know, I don't gotta go to work. I just gotta a bunch of babies. That's it. I can stay home. I can teach my kids how to read, write, love the Lord, play with them, live in the magic window and imagination all day, keep the house clean. What? That sounds heavenly right now. That sounds heavenly.
Absolutely.
Being Miss Independent? Oh, heck no. I would much rather it be the 50s.
That's right.
You know, minus that a husband can beat his wife without protection. Yeah. Minus all that stuff. But we're more moral now. I feel like the economy, what it was, the way society was back then, with the morals of today to some degree. You know, men know that it's not okay to beat their wives or sexually assault their wives, and they know we can't beat children anymore. Okay, well, now that we've established that, let's go back to how it was now. If I had a wand, that's what I would do.
Okay. I second that. I second it. But no, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this on up. But I did have one more question. I do know about your channel about the America's First, the AI. Tell me a little bit about that actually, and how I can actually sign up or be able to support you in that.
So right now, I'm actually building out the platform. It's not actually launched just yet. We're headed for a launch in like February, towards the end of February, early March. Right now I'm actually building it out. But yeah, I pretty much leverage AI to build out the whole thing, to build out the software itself, and to actually produce my actual cartoons. Right now it's cartoons because I don't like creating photorealistic people. Like I don't like creating fake people. I feel like if we're created in the image of our king, I feel weird about creating digital people in his likeness too. I just feel like it's weird. So for my I just pretty much produce a crap ton of cartoons. And right now we're in the middle of producing pretty much 2 series right now. So we're in the middle of producing a noir mystery series and a sci-fi show. It's not really like, it's hard to, because it's really, the way to describe it is real technical, because like there's shot by shot. If you played around with AI, you kind of know what that means. Or there's like the one woman kind of show, or there's like podcast style. And because AI isn't fully there yet to really fully mass produce cartoons the way we're used to seeing them, I've had to get a little bit creative. But yeah, it'll be a streaming platform that'll be launching. Like I said, it'll be early this year. We're looking at a mid-February, end of February launch. At least that's what we're hoping for. A series should be done. It'll be a $10 subscription. And the goal is to make like the first episode of every show, the pilot of every show, available on my YouTube channel as well as my sister's YouTube channel, because she's fully producing one series while I'm producing another. But we're in the middle, like I said, we're in mass production mode, just trying to make sure that we have a full content library when it releases, and then weekly releases where every week there'll be a new episode. But yeah, I'm not really, at first I was going to put it all behind a paywall on YouTube for like YouTube memberships. But then there was this case that came out between this guy named, the brand name was called Wall Street Bets. And he went to like, I guess you can say he went to epic like legal warfare with Reddit. And they pretty much stole his brand from him because it made millions of dollars and they took it from him. And it was like, well, if you're going to take somebody's business just because they built it on your platform, from that moment onward, it was like, well, screw building out my full business on YouTube. I can't do that because if Reddit can just come in and take it, then what's stopping YouTube from doing that with somebody else's? And so to avoid that, that's how I ended up building out this platform this early on anyway. I had no intention on building out the streaming platform this early. But, you know, again, with all the tools available to me, it was like, you know what? Build it out. And now, you know, now I'm a founder of my own streaming platform. So, you know, the goal is to have more content available. Like it's not just cartoons that we're trying to get up there. I'm trying to work on getting a comedian up there and getting, if not her own, you know, late night series, then possibly getting some of her stand-up comedy on the platform as well. But we'll see. Like, I'm trying to build it like a full thing, like not as big as Netflix or even as big as the Daily Wire. To be quite honest with you, I only care about entertaining Americans. That's it. Like, I don't care about the world. I could care less. I don't really care about competing with Daily Wire. I just want my piece of the pie. I feel like I have enough creative ability and my ideology as far as America first. I think a lot of people want more series and movies with those principles. And I think the stories that I have are going to have that. So it's just a question of getting it produced well and out there for people and see what they think. But yeah, I'm super stoked for it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You have my 100% support. One more thing. I know we always talk about this when we come on the show, but I have to actually establish it. We always talk about God a lot. We always talk about Christian. We come from a Christian family. We just need to do some more subjects talking about Christ sometimes. You feel me?
I would be okay with that. Yeah, because you know what? The Slit, he's actually one of my he's like a dedicated viewer on my channel. He keeps me cracking up. He's always he always pops up in my comment section. But one of the reasons why I decided to come on my live is because some of my audiences aren't sure if I'm real or not. They keep telling me, I have a couple of them are like, put a spoon in your mouth with peanut butter or something because they're not sure if I'm AI or not.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's because you know the podcast is called America First AI Podcast. It's a pending name; it could change. Who knows? But yeah, because the channel is so focused on America First, you know, policy and getting ahead of a post-economic, you know, society. I don't really talk too much about faith, so being able to do more of that will be a good thing. Now it's always a scheduling thing because during the week it's a nightmare. That's really when I'm doing my podcast and I'm in the middle of production, and during the day on the weekends I'm really doing more production for the streaming platform. So it's usually scheduling for me. But if we can get it on the books like in advance and at least twice a month, it'll be good.
That's all I'm asking. Yep, twice a month. That'd be good. I mean, that'd be good. Okay, well, if there's anything else, man, I think we covered everything.
You know, I did have a question for you though. Before we go, I did want to know, like, have you been like the Nick Fuentes thing? Like, are you tracking Nick? Do you watch anything about Nick Fuentes or anything?
No, I haven't checked up for Nick since the time he was on Fresh and Fit, and that was like a year ago. What's been going on? Yeah, what's been going on?
Seriously? I didn't even know he was on Fresh and Fit. I really don't like those guys, but I would have watched that. I like that guy. I'm not even like you know, he's like my god brother now. Like I just like this guy so much. I'm like, he's supposed to be releasing. Yeah, I love him. I'm like, people keep calling him a racist, and he's not. And personally, I'm just like him in some regard. You know, he's prejudiced in a lot of ways, but so am I. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't like black people in a general sense. You don't spend most of my upbringing years calling me a bed wench, an Oreo, acting like a white girl, and I'm not actually black and expect me to like you. Like, I just don't. And then with all the violence that you see, like, yeah, I'm kind of on Nick's side in that case. So when he was just saying it and not caring, it was like, thank you. like, I'm so sick of white people being afraid of being called racist and not standing up for themselves because they're afraid to be called a racist. So it was like, Nick is my guy. Then when he started clapping at, all of these iCountry supporters, that's me trying to avoid the algorithmic issues. But yeah, I'm sick of them too. So him saying it, like, they keep trying to guilt trip us, and they keep bringing up, the Holocaust and all that stuff. And I'm like, if I don't agree with Black people asking for reparations because of what happened 200 some years ago, I'm not okay with you asking for us to pay for something that we're not even guilty of from 60, 70, 80 years ago. Like, we are not even guilty. We came to save you. Why are we still paying for it for something we didn't even do? So when he started outing all that, oh man, he became my favorite. He was popping up left and right, and it was like, yeah, you're
who
my
did
guy.
he come to save? You said he came. So you talking about Jews or Black people?
No, so America went, fought in the wars to save Jewish people from the Nazis.
Okay, Jews.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we? You want? If I don't like it when Blacks ask for reparations, and America is guilty, right, of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation, and I don't believe we should be paying that reparations for that. And America has, in its past, like, and I don't even believe we should be paying for that, because I'm not paying for it in my taxes. But you want us to continue to send money to a nation that is filled with a population of people whom we saved from tyranny? That doesn't make sense. And all because, well, no, because of the Holocaust. Well, we didn't do it. We're not guilty. That was the Germans. We came to save you. Why are we paying? That's how I feel. So I'm like Nick, he says it in a way that's a lot more provocative, to say the least. But
like
yeah, he said it. But yeah, like when he says we don't care about the Holocaust, he's not wrong when he says it. It's like, that's a history lesson. That's Schindler's List. That's, Anne Frank's diary. Been there, read it. We're over it now. Stop guilt tripping us to pay for it continuously. We're not guilty. We didn't do it. We don't want to pay for it. Our country's falling to hell, going to hell in a handbasket. But you want us in all these people's wars? Why? You want us to send you money so you can, for what? Why? Well, because of the Holocaust. Again, we're not guilty of it. Why are we paying for it? And he says that, like, flat out, more provocatively. But he was the only one saying it. And then after he started saying it, then Candace started saying it. Then Tucker Carlson started saying it. And then we were seeing more from Dave Smith and, Anna Kasparian and the Young Turks. Obviously, I think October 7th happening, what happened in Israel, when that happened, I think Israel side. And then 2 years of a war where we were just seeing way too many innocents die. It was like, are we really on the right side of this? And then everybody started listening more to Nick Fuentes. Even I did. And it was like, he's right. I like this guy. So every time he talks about, we're exercising prejudice to be safe. We are tired of hearing about Holocaust this, Holocaust that. We don't care about Israel. He was on to something. And ever since then, it was like, yo, he's my god brother. I like this guy. Can't wait for him to come out with his organization. I'm so signing up, like, yesterday. Like, totally like him.
So what exactly is going on with Nick Fuentes? You said that he said something about Israel, or what is he?
Yeah, I wanted to know what your take was on what he was saying. Like, he's been on a couple of shows. He went on Piers Morgan. When he went on Piers Morgan, and he was cracking jokes he cracked one joke about the Holocaust. But I'm like, it's been 80 years. Like, how long has to go before anyone can crack any joke about any travesty? I mean, we should be able to at this point. But he pretty much explained to Piers, he explained to Piers Morgan, like, young people don't care. Like, we don't care. I don't care about the Holocaust. I don't care about helping Jews out and around the world. We don't care about helping Israel. We're not putting them first anymore. We don't believe in their wars. And they're pretty much calling everybody who agrees with him an anti-Semite. And the reality is young people don't care about being called names anymore. I don't care being called a race traitor when I say I don't like blacks. And I don't care being called an anti-Semite when I say I don't want to support Israel anymore. And I don't care about what happened in the Holocaust anymore. It's sad, but you're using the history of it to guilt trip us in to spending more money. And it's literally taking the impact of the history of it because you keep asking for money. But if I'm telling my own community no for something that my nation is actually guilty of, then how dare I support sending money to a country who's victim of another tyranny that we rescued you from? That just doesn't make sense. The math don't math. And if I'm going to be consistent, then I got to tell you no too. And that's why I like Nick. But that's why I was like, there's no way JB doesn't know about what Nick Fuentes has said about Israel, because, a lot of people, they're not big on the so-called Jewish population. Now, I don't have an issue with Jews. I have an issue with Israel. For whatever reason, people can't make the differentiation between the two, specifically the Israel supporters. But I was kind of surprised to see a lot of Black people commentators calling like people like Candace Owens and even people like myself calling me an anti-Semite. I'm like, I thought Blacks didn't even like Jewish people. So why is it that all these Black commentators are now all of a sudden calling Black people who are against the state of Israel anti-Semitic now? Like, what happened? I don't know. There was a shift. There was definitely a shift. I think
how old were some of those commenters too? Because I actually could play a part in this. And I was going to say, due to I told you about my father back in the day, like he grew up in the 60s. A lot of stuff, a lot of people that you saw in marches were Jewish people that would watch marching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that
they were kind of sort of millennials. I mean, if you look at ABL, Brandon Tatum, those are the first two. Yeah. Brandon Tatum, those two. It's like they're pretty much calling commentators like me, Candace Owens, Dave Smith, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes. They're pretty much calling anybody who's against Israel anti-Semitic. But it's like, you can't tell a community whom you find ridiculous asking for reparations for for something that they had not experienced. So all of a sudden be supportive of a country that wants more money from us. That doesn't make sense. We're telling Black America that they don't deserve reparations because they were not the victims of said tragedies of yesteryear. But for the people who are in Israel collecting the American tax dollar, they weren't victims of the Holocaust. So who are we to keep sending the money? We did not cause their harm. In fact, we offered refuge. We told them to come to America to be safe. We let them come here. We saved them from their tyranny. How could we possibly tell Black America to support that, but not give them reparations? It's like you're not being consistent there. I just don't trust people like Brandon Tatum or ABL because of that. And on top of that, I don't really like this comparison that people are making between Christianity and Judaism. And that,
well, yeah, that's a total different thing.
It's like, because those conversations are kind of coming together. And Nick, I do think, does talk a little bit more about that on his show specifically, where he is making he does draw that line. He does say what the differences are between Judaism and Christianity. It's like they chose a new covenant. Like the second Christ died, my faith was born. Like that's when he was born. That's when my faith was born. So they chose a new covenant. The second you said Christ wasn't your king, you chose a new covenant. Our faith is not the same.
Right.
It's not. And this idea that we're a Judeo-Christian society lies, hogwash. It's not real. That's a lie that was told. Something happened in our society around the 60s. Something changed policy-wise. And I do blame Israel for that. I blame Israel. I do blame the wealth class of Israel and the Jewish influence. I do blame them for that. I think they're to blame. Most people can call me an anti-Semite for saying, it's the Jews, but I'm like, how many people in Hollywood and academia and politics name is Epstein, Weinstein, Goldberg? There's too much. Too many coincidences start to add up, man. So I'm right there with Nick. I totally think that he's a phenomenon that should be paid attention to. I think that's a huge part of why Charlie Kirk is dead. I think that's a huge part of why we don't know more about the Epstein documents. I think there's way more there that our government does not want to acknowledge. And even some of the systems that we're seeing, like some of the social media platforms are being bought by Israel. When you look at Paramount, for example, Paramount's trying to buy Warner Brothers, but they are owned by a company that is directly connected to Israel. It's like, so an Israeli funded company is going to buy my Justice League. It's going to buy it's going to buy, the Harry Potter Wizarding World. It's going to buy Lord of the Rings, a Christian story. I mean, they're buying social media platforms. They bought TikTok. This is why you can't even say Jews on TikTok. You have to write juice. And now they don't even let you use the Israeli flag anymore as the emoji on TikTok anymore, apparently. There's way too much power and influence. And I think that rise of Nick Fuentes is our rejecting Israel's influence in government and culture and academia. I think he's a phenomenon. I do think you definitely should track and pay attention to, especially with more Christian content that you're going to be doing on your channel. I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on, because that's going to be a major player with a lot of policies that's going to be coming forward, specifically when it relates to Israel, how we can even leverage our First Amendment and be even public about our Christian faith. Because remember, they tried to criminalize the Bible almost, right? Like, just to acknowledge that it was partly the Jews' fault why Christ was killed was about to be a crime. That was about to be a crime. And Pam Bondi was ready to arrest people for anti-Semitic rhetoric. I'm like, but if I say that they chose a new covenant, that they betrayed my king, that would be considered anti-Semitic, and you could arrest me. Yeah, it's so significant. It's definitely a guy to track. It's definitely a guy to pay attention to, for sure. Like, especially if you're going to be doing more Christian content, you so got to track that guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, excuse me, Asia.
I know.
just had to take off my
I get it.
Yeah, the twins. But anyway, I appreciate you coming and spending your time with me. I thank you to your audience for joining me right here at the JB Speakeasy. Like I said, we're going to have to get together and do one of my gospel shows, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for letting me come on your channel tonight. That was a lot of fun. And I appreciate the opportunity to go live, because, again, my audience has been wanting me to be more live. And I really just record and post. So this was a great opportunity. So I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely, no problem. All right, God bless you guys. I'll take care. Once again, this is JB speaking for JB Speakeasy, the Black platform where Black men speak freely. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.
God bless.
There you go.